What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full slate of NBA and college basketball action here on Tuesday, February 10th. I'll give you my favorite picks on the side and over-under on each game. We're going to break down the biggest college basketball games of the night. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock. So as a huge thank you to me for putting out these videos, take that 10th of a second and slam that like button. It really helps get the channel and get these videos promoted out there across YouTube, and it is a big part of keeping me motivated every single night to get in here and grind out one of these videos. So definitely slam that thumbs up button, and also check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. We just hit 68,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100K this year. Let's see if we can make that happen. Subscribing to the channel is absolutely free, and it keeps you from missing out on these videos that I am uploading here every single solitary day. So definitely take a second, check and see if you are subscribed. Also, get down there in the comments and let me know anything you want to say about today's video or yesterday's video, any thoughts you have about any of the plays that I am recommending. Definitely let me know any questions you have about any bets you're looking at across the sporting world. Definitely get down there in the comments and let me know. If I don't have the answer, I can reach out to the premium handicappers over there at stumpthespread.com, and I can help you get an answer there. So definitely get down there in the comments. And also, while you're down there, check that pinned comment. You want to check that throughout the day just to see if there's any changes in the picks that I like the best from the video over the course of the day. That's where you'll find my favorite plays every single day is right there in that pinned comment. That's also where you'll find a link to stumpthespread.com where you can find more free picks and get on that free email newsletter. So definitely make sure you're checking that pinned comment. Yesterday, guys, we're still a little bit early on trying to bring you the value of the early lines by getting this video out a little bit earlier, but we have Arizona -2.5. They're looking very good right now at Kansas. We cashed the Jazz plus 8.5 already. That was a straight up 115-111 win there for Utah. Honestly, all around, just a great team win. Markkanen played well. The starters all played well, but Sensabaugh and Filipowski really kind of carried the load there off the bench. They both played really well, and the Jazz, maybe just a little bit too good to really effectively tank. We also cashed the Pelicans -6.5. It was a comfortable blowout win there for New Orleans. This team just seems so close to putting all the pieces together. Murphy and Zion continue to look like a potentially dominant force at times, and they just haven't been able to get over the top yet with this group. So we'll see what happens down the stretch for this team. We're on Memphis +7.5. That game's still in the first quarter, but Memphis does have a little lead there over the Golden State Warriors. We're also on the Lakers +7.5 as our dog of the day. They are currently tied in the first quarter there with the Thunder. And unfortunately, the Bulls, as our lock of the day, bricked us out. It was an embarrassing loss there for Chicago to a Nets team with no Michael Porter Jr. Sometimes in the NBA, this exact scenario is going to happen to you, though. I did not see Brooklyn shooting the ball this insanely well. They shot almost 50% from three. That's going to be pretty tough for a team like the Bulls to overcome. So unfortunately, it looks like the Pelicans should have been our lock of the day and not the Bulls. So that was a misstep by me. Let's see if we can get it back here tomorrow. All that being said, the lock of the day has still been very good this year, going 23-12 over the course of 2026 so far. So let's go ahead and get after it, guys. Let's dive in. Still could potentially have a very good day. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've gotten over to stumpthespread.com and checked out everything over there. And let's go ahead and get after it. We've only got 4 NBA games, but then we are covering a ton of college basketball action on a loaded Tuesday of college basketball. So let's get after it. First up, we got the Indiana Pacers heading to New York to take on the Knicks. The Pacers come into this game 13-40 on the season. They've lost their last 4 in a row, and even worse news than that is Furphy tearing the ACL in his right knee. That was brutal. That was really brutal. The kid been having a really good season. He was in the starting lineup now, and now he's going to be out for who knows how long, probably like a year. Very unfortunate stuff there. It happened in that 122-104 loss there at Toronto. And this year has just been a nightmare for the Pacers. They haven't been able to stay healthy. When they've been healthy, they just seems like they immediately get derailed by an injury. They didn't play particularly great. They got significantly out-rebounded there by the Raptors, so we'll see what they can do here down the stretch. Videos coming out of Tyrese Halliburton, getting back in shape and stuff like that. That's all very good news, but not for this season. That's for next season. The Pacers were active there in the trading market, picking up Zubac. That will be a big deal for them, but not until next season. He is technically questionable for this game, so I guess there's a chance he's out there, but I'd be a little bit surprised if they bring him back before the trade deadline. Obviously, the Pacers definitely a team that should be tanking right now as opposed to trying to win games. Neesmith is questionable for this game due to a left hand strain, and TJ McConnell is questionable due to a right hamstring being kind of sore there. So we'll see what happens as they head to Madison Square Garden taking the Knicks, who at 34-19 on the season, they're headed in the right direction. They're coming off a big 111-89 win there in Boston. So taking care of business in that one. Jalen Brunson played really well. He had 31. Josh Hart had 19, and he was questionable for that game, so he played great. Cat put up a double-double, just barely, not his most dominant performance, but the bench looked good as well. We loved what we saw from Jose Alvarado, newly acquired Jose Alvarado coming off the bench, and the Knicks shoot 40% from three, so very, very good work. That was one of those games where the Celtics just couldn't throw it in the ocean, but also Boston was far from at full strength for this game. So we'll see what the Knicks can do in this one. They come into this game relatively healthy. We do see Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson both on the injury report there. That's not great news. Anunoby is questionable with that toe issue. He hasn't played since the 4th when they faced the Denver Nuggets and played the double overtime game. Mitchell Robinson has officially been ruled out due to left ankle injury management. So we'll see what the Knicks can get done in this one. They're 11.5 point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 223.5. The Pacers are 9-16 against the spread on the road, 17-22 against the spread after a loss, 17-8 to the under on the road. The Knicks are 19-8 against the spread at home, 21-13 against the spread after a win, 14-13 to the under at home. This is a little bit of a, could be, potentially slightly a grudge match. The Knicks did win game 1 of this season series, but that was all the way back in December. I will take the Knicks to win and cover in this one, but it's going to be a very, very small lean, guys. This is an awful lot of points here, even against a depressed Pacers team. All that being said, I do think the Knicks probably do take care of it, take care of business in this one. They are playing on the front half of a back-to-back before heading to Philly and taking on the 76ers on ESPN, though, so they might not be super duper locked in. Next up, guys, in one of the two big NBA games of the night, we've got the Los Angeles Clippers going on the road to take on the Houston Rockets. Now, the Clippers, they're 25-27 in the season. They've won back-to-back games. They were big sellers there at the trade deadline, trading away James Harden and bringing in Garland, who is not quite ready to take the floor. At the Timberwolves last time, they got the 115-96 win. Kawhi going off for 41 points, just looking like a completely totally dominant force out there. Nobody else really going particularly nuts. As a team, though, they do shoot 52% from three. You're not going to see that every night, but it was a very, very, just a staggeringly good performance there from Kawhi Leonard, putting up some bonkers level numbers. So got to give him major, major credit for staying locked in, even, with the team looking like sellers right here at the trade deadline. The injury report here for the Clippers is looking very, very clean, except for Darius Garland. He's still dealing with that toe issue. There is no timetable for his return to play. So we'll see what happens with him down the stretch this season potentially, but right now it's going to be the Kawhi Leonard show there in LA. Benedict Mathurin available to go as well, but when you're starting point guard is Chris Dunn, that's not a great sign. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Houston Rockets. They come in this game 32-19 on the season. Sengun just got named an all-star there to replace injured SGA. The Rockets are fresh off a 112-106 win at the Thunder, which we were on the Rockets getting 3.5 points in that game, so we'll definitely take it. KD played well. Jabari Smith Jr. played really well, putting up 22. Tari Eason had 26, actually led the team in scoring. The bench put up a grand total of 11 points. There's still plenty of issues here for the Rockets, but in this matchup, not having a bench might not really matter too much because it's not like the Clippers have an amazing bench either. I mean, Kobe Sanders, Derrick Jones Jr., Batum, and Isaiah Jackson is not much of a bench. So we'll see. We'll see what the Rockets can put together in this one. They do come into this game looking very, very healthy, fully healthy, rested, and ready to go. That's good news for this team. They're 7.5 point favorites at home. We've got a total of 210.5. The Clippers are 14-14 against spread on the road, 13-11 against spread after a win. They're a 500 over/under team on the road. Houston's only 8-15 against spread at home, 12-19 against spread after a win, 15-17-1 to the under at home. This is definitely a rough spot. 7.5 is a lot to ask the Rockets to cover. Kawhi is healthy and is playing right now, so all indications really are that, the Clippers are still, trying, not, shutting him down or anything like that. So I am going to lean just slightly towards the Clippers here, getting those 7.5 points. But like I said, this is a very, very tough spot. But I just expect somehow for this to be a very close, very competitive game. Next up, guys, we got the Dallas Mavericks heading to Phoenix to take on the Suns. The Mavericks are 19-33 on the season. They've lost 7 straight games, so it has not been looking super easy. They're coming off a 138-125 loss there against the Spurs. They actually lost both games of that little home and home series, which isn't something you see all the time. The Mavs really tried hard to keep game 2 competitive, but didn't have any answers out there for Stephon Castle. He played amazing. Clay actually led the Mavs in scoring, putting up, 19 off the bench or something like that. Marvin Bagley had 16 off the pine. Cooper Flagg, only 14 points, but only played 26 minutes. Seems like the Mavericks might be tanking here a little bit. We'll have to closely monitor that situation. It does appear that they're going to play everyone in this game. They're, pretty healthy right now. Klay Thompson, the only guy that sees significant minutes that's on the injury report. He's questionable for this game due to rest, potentially, so we'll see if anybody else pops up on that injury report. But right now, it appears they're going to have basically everybody ready to go as they head to Phoenix to take on the Suns. Now, the Suns, they've been struggling a little bit, losing 3 out of their last 4. They're coming off a 109-103 loss to the 76ers, so that was obviously less than ideal in that game. I mean, Dillon Brooks really trying to carry the load with, no Devin Booker. He put up 28. Devin Booker did come back for that game and put up 21 of his own, but yeah, I don't really think we want to see Devin Booker taking 12 shots and Dillon Brooks taking 23, but I'm not going to be the one to tell him to stop shooting the ball so much. The bench also didn't come up very big in this game, and we saw the Suns shoot only 24% from 3. You're not going to win a lot of games when you shoot only 24% from long range. So we'll see if the Suns can bounce back here. Obviously, having Devin Booker back is a huge deal. He's healthy and ready to go. Jalen Green is ready to go. Grayson Allen is dealing with that knee issue. He's going to be reevaluated after the All-Star break, so he is definitely out for this one. That is not great news. He's been a very productive piece for them this season. So we'll see what the Suns can do here at home. They're 7.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 226.5. Dallas is only 7-14 against the spread on the road. That's an NBA worst mark against the spread on the road. They are 15-17 against spread after a loss, 13-8 to the under on the road. The Suns are 17-9 against the spread at home, 14-7 against spread after a loss, 19-7-1 to the under at home. So we actually do have to consider under 226.5. Have to consider it pretty like a very, very reasonable play here. So definitely consider the under, but better than that, I'll take the Suns to get the winning cover in this one. Mavs are banged up. They're not playing guys their full increment of minutes anymore. I definitely think we see Phoenix come away with a comfortable double-digit win in this one. In our last NBA game of the night, before we hop over and cover a huge chunk of the college basketball slate, we got the San Antonio Spurs going on the road to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Spurs, they're 36-16 on the season. They're putting in some pretty good work, winning 4 in a row and 5 of their last 6 overall. They've been playing great. They just won back-to-back games there over the Mavericks. We're loving what we're seeing from Stephon Castle. He's playing great. Just put up a 40-piece. Was that a 40-piece triple-double as well? Yeah. Crazy work there. Having Devin Vassell back has been a huge deal for this defense and just for the team overall. Wemby's playing well. De'Aaron Fox is doing what he needs to do. Not going too nuts, but he's doing okay. We're liking what we're seeing from Dylan Harper off the bench. And just in general, this team is looking very, very good and very, very dangerous. So we'll see what they can do on the road in this one. San Antonio comes in this game fully healthy, rested, and ready to go. That is a big deal. Everybody ready to get after it here as they head to Los Angeles to take on the Lakers. The Lakers are currently playing right now. Their end of the first quarter, they're down by 1 against the Thunder. So hopefully they can hold things together and have a finish this game off solidly. They are they're 1-3 in a row going into that game against the Thunder. They're not going to have to travel for this no rest spot, but obviously, playing the Thunder and then playing the Thunder and then the Spurs back to back. Not exactly super easy. So we'll see what they can put together in this one. Obviously, Luka has been missing time. He won't be back until after the All-Star break. Will LeBron play here on the second half of a back-to-back? That feels a bit up in the air. I do expect guys like Reeves, Smart, potentially Ayton to play, and most of the bench should be available, but I do think this is a little bit of a sketchy spot for the Lakers in terms of health. Obviously, they're playing right now. We don't have an updated injury report for them. Right now, the number that we're seeing out there is the Lakers getting 7.5 points. We've got a total of 228.5. The Spurs are 13-12-1 against spread on the road, 17-16-2 against spread after a win, 16-10 to the under on the road. The Lakers are 13-9 against spread at home, 4-4 against the spread on no rest, 15-7 to the over at home. I'm not interested in the total in this game, guys, but I'm very likely to be on the San Antonio Spurs here at -7.5. I would jump in on this one early. I think we could see some late-breaking injury news impacting the Lakers. Maybe not even injury news, just like rest or whatever. I do not think we're going to see everybody playing in this game for Los Angeles. I would be very, very shocked if that was the case, and everybody should be healthy and ready to go for the Spurs. Now, guys, hopping over to cover a very, very deep and very exciting slate of college basketball action here on Tuesday. But before we dive in, we got to shout out the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, guys, our premium members are getting daily NBA, NHL, UFC, and college basketball picks. We've had a very, very solid run over there. A massive, massive winning Super Bowl day for all the premium members. So hats off to all of you that cashed in on that. And we are going to have a ton of premium college basketball picks on a loaded Tuesday of college basketball action. NBA premium picks will also be in the mix. And I'm also hearing rumblings that we're going to have a bunch of Olympics picks in the premium section for the premium members over there at stumpthespread.com on Tuesday. So definitely make sure you're getting in on that. And keep in mind, the premium picks are not always going to match what you see from me here in the videos, as we have a team of experienced experts over there covering all of the major sports, and then every single one of them has over a decade's worth of experience covering his given sport. So there is really no correlation between what you see from me here in the videos and what you're going to see as a premium member over there at stumpthespread.com. Also, even if you're not looking to become a premium member, you got to get over there to stumpthespread.com. Check out the free picks under the free picks tab. We cashed Xavier getting 14.5 points there against St. John's. That game went into overtime. Xavier eventually did lose by 5, but that is an easy cover for us and a win there for everybody that saw those premium picks. Also, you got to get on that free email newsletter, guys. Tons and tons of plays from the Super Bowl cashed there from the email picks. Golf has been an absolute treasure trove over there for the guys that are on the premium, or not on the premium, guys that are on the free email newsletter. It's just been great, cashing a ton of plays. You've been seeing them on screen for the last few days. Definitely make sure you are not missing out on all of that great information, those emails. Tons of stuff on just, regular sports like the college basketball, NBA, NHL, you name it, but also all the niche sports like golf, NASCAR, tennis, WNBA, UFC. All of those, and the Olympics now are going to be getting love in the email. So definitely make sure you're not missing out on those. Also, get over to stumpthespread.com if you're interested in picking up a Stump the Spread hoodie. We're selling them for $39.99 right now, which is at cost. And guys, free shipping is included with your purchase. They can be to you in as little as 7 days. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for your YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe most importantly, they get access to our members-only giveaways, guys. We did a double giveaway there on Super Bowl Sunday. We're going to do our regular, normal, once-per-week giveaway here on Tuesday. So you picked a great time to show up. The way these videos work, you see this big wheel up on the screen right now. We click the button. This wheel has the name of every single YouTube channel member on it. Whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their address of choice. Looks like this week's winner is going to be Sambas? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but you are the winner of today's giveaway. Get down there in the comments. Let us know that you see that you've won. We will give you instructions on how to go about claiming your hoodie, and you can have that hoodie in as little as a week. So big shout out to Sambas. Big shout out to every single one of my YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you guys. Keep in mind, the more YouTube channel members we get, the more giveaways we're going to do every single week. Love doing these giveaways. So let's go ahead, guys. Let's get back after it. Like I said, huge shout out to all the YouTube channel members. Good luck next week in the giveaway. And who knows, we get up to 125 channel members, we'll be doing 2 giveaways every single week. I think we're at like 112 right now. So getting pretty close. But let's go ahead and get back after it. Make sure you've gotten over to stumpthespread.com, checked out everything over there. Make sure that you've slammed that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's hop in and look at some college basketball action. We got a barn burner right here out of the gates. We got number 13 Purdue going on the road to take on number 7 Nebraska. Purdue comes into this game 19-4 on the season, 9-3 out there in Big Ten play. They're fresh off of back-to-back wins. They went into Maryland and got a 30-point blowout. Then they played a suspiciously close game there against Oregon, eventually winning 68-64. But that maybe they fell victim to a little bit of a look-ahead spot here with a very tough Nebraska team on deck. We'll see what they can do. Obviously, the MO for this team is they rely pretty aggressively on the guard play of Braden Smith, and he's been a monster this year. They're in the top 60 in the nation total offense. Their defense is very good as well. Rebounding has been something of an issue. Like in that loss against Illinois, we didn't love what we saw from Purdue necessarily. They got just destroyed on the boards 33-19. So you have to watch out for the Boilermakers' inability to just hang on and find a way to complete those possessions with a rebound. Now, Nebraska, they come into this game ranked number 7 in the nation. They're 10-2 in Big Ten play. They are 21-2 on the year. It's been a pretty good year. They did lose back-to-back games, losing at Michigan and then to number 9 Illinois. They bounced back with a convincing win at Rutgers. They avoid the look-ahead spot here. We'll see what they can do now going up against Purdue. Obviously, Price Sandford has been a monster this year. Sam Hoiberg has been good. This team is 117th in the nation total offense, but their defensive numbers are off the charts good. Their rebounding, once again, not necessarily an amazing rebounding team. technically, by raw statistics, a worse rebounding team than Purdue. So we'll see what happens in this one, guys. Nebraska, they're 2.5-point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 147.5. Purdue, 4-3 against the spread on the road, 13-10 to the under. Nebraska, 5-7-1 against the spread at home, 16-7 to the under. Guys, I think the best play on this game is actually just to take under 147.5. I don't think we're going to see a crazy high scoring game from these two teams. I think it could be a bit of a rock fight. Very, very low scoring. In terms of a side, I will take Nebraska at home here at -2.5 as a small lean, but I think the under is the better play. Next on the dock, we're looking at the number 11 UNC Tar Heels going on the road to take on the Miami Hurricanes out there in the ACC. UNC, obviously coming off their biggest win of the season. They took down number 4 Duke, 71-68, an absolute barn burner of a game. Duke did really fall apart in the second half. North Carolina came storming back. They did a good job. They shot the ball well when they needed to the most, and they won this game despite getting destroyed on the board. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, over the course of the season, North Carolina has been pretty good. They did lose at Stanford and at California. Now they're headed to a different warm weather situation. They're headed to Miami. This team has been excellent this year, 50th in the nation in total rebounding. Their offensive numbers are good. Their defensive numbers are fine. So there is definitely a lot to like here about the Tar Heels. Now they're heading to Miami to take on a Hurricanes team that's been pretty good this season as well. They are 7-3 in conference play. They're fresh off a 74-68 win at Boston College. Letting that game be that close is not a great look. They also lost by 1 against Cal. They beat Stanford. They beat Syracuse. They lost to Florida State. They also lost to Clemson. We'll see what they can do. This is obviously a pretty big step up from what they're used to seeing on a night-to-night basis. Malik Reneau's been a monster this season, 20 points per game, 56.5% from the field. Those are crazy numbers. The offensive numbers are also elite. Their defensive numbers are okay, and the rebounding numbers are very, very solid. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Miami, they're getting 1.5 here at home. We've got a total of 157.5. North Carolina is 3-3 against spread on the road, 12-11 to the under. Miami 5-7-1 against spread at home, 15-6-1 to the over. A very high scoring team with a total here of 157.5. I don't think I'm too interested in that, but we are catching the Tar Heels in a massive letdown spot. It doesn't get much bigger than this, so I will take Miami here playing at home as a small lean. Will this make the pinned comment? Probably not, but I would understand anybody that wanted to jump on this one. It definitely makes plenty of sense. Staying in the ACC for this next one, we've got the number 15 Virginia Cavaliers heading to Florida State to take on the Seminoles. Now, Virginia, they're 9-2 in conference play. They're 20-3 overall. They've won their last 4 in a row, winning at Notre Dame, at Boston College, and then blowing out Pitt by 20, and then also at home in this one, a 72-59 win over Syracuse. So some very good work being put in by this Cavaliers team. They're 64th in the nation total offense. They're a top 20 rebounding team nationally, and their defensive numbers, which are, historically always excellent, are once again excellent this season. So we'll see what they can put together in this one. They're taking on Florida State. The Seminoles are only 11-12 on the season. They're 4-6 in conference play. They have won 3 straight games. They beat Cal, they beat Stanford, and they beat Notre Dame. All those games were very, very competitive. Robert McCray, the 5th, leads this team with 14 points and 6 assists per game, but they are not in the top 100 nationally in total offense. Their defensive numbers don't look great, and this is not exactly a top-tier rebounding team. Rebounding could be something of a problem here for Florida State. No real look-ahead spot here for the Seminoles. Virginia has Ohio State on deck, which is probably, it's a non-conference game, but it's probably not something they're, super terrified of. So looking at the numbers here, guys, Florida State's getting either 8.5 or 8 points, depending on which book you look at. We've got a total of 150.5 in this game. Virginia is 4-3 against the spread on the road, 14-9 to the under. Florida State is 8-4-1 against the spread at home, 13-10 to that under. Guys, I'm going to be taking Virginia here, despite the fact they're playing on the road. They're just by far the better team. I think they win this one by double digits by dominating on the boards, if not dominating on the boards and dominating defensively. So definitely give me the Virginia Cavaliers here. Despite the fact they're playing on the road, I think they get in for a comfortable win. Next on the dock, we're headed out to the SEC. We've got the number 19 Vanderbilt Commodores heading to Auburn to take on the Tigers. Now, Vanderbilt, they're 6-4 in SEC play, so not an amazing conference record, but they've been very good overall. They're coming off a tough 91-92 loss against Oklahoma. We'll see what they can do here, in a not easy road environment. Before that loss against Oklahoma, they had won 3 in a row, winning at Mississippi State, against Kentucky, and against Ole Miss. So they've shown, they can beat some relatively tough opponents. Their best win this season probably is over Alabama. Maybe I would say that's their best win. So still a lot to prove here for the Commodores. Tyler Taner's a monster, 18, 19 points per game, 5+ assists per contest. They're 14th in the nation total offense, but they're not a great rebounding team, and I wouldn't say they're a dominant defensive team either. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against Auburn. The Tigers are 5-5 on the season. They're coming off back-to-back losses, a 77-69 loss at Tennessee and a 96-92 loss against Alabama. So we'll see what they can come up here against a very, very good Vanderbilt team. Keyshawn Hall is a monster, 21 points per game. This team is in the top 32 in the nation total offense. Their rebounding numbers aren't exactly top tier either, but their defense isn't great. It's definitely not as good as Vanderbilt's defense, so I do have plenty of questions here for Auburn. They are playing at home, which helps. That's probably why they're 3.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 161.5. Vanderbilt 4-3 against the spread on the road, 12-11 to the under. Auburn 6-5 against the spread at home, 14-9 to the over. Definitely an interesting spot. I do think Keyshawn Hall is going to be the best player on the floor in this game, but I like the overall talent of Vanderbilt quite a bit more. Give me the Commodores here, catching those 3.5 points. Despite the fact they're on the road, they've been a good road team this season, so this is an underdog play that I think is very, very valuable. Next on the docket, we're headed out to the Big 12. We've got the number 22 BYU Cougars heading to Baylor to take on the Bears. Now, BYU has had a rough time over their last 4 games. They lost to number 1 Arizona, lost to number 10 Kansas, lost at Oklahoma State, and then lost 77-66 against Houston. So a tough little 4-game stretch here. Obviously, some ultra elite level opponents mixed in there. So we'll see what they can do here in a bounce back spot. AJ DeBanza is obviously a monster, 24 points a game, 54% from the field. BYU's in the top 25 in the nation total offense. They're in the top 50 in total rebounding. Their defensive numbers are good. I think this is just a very, very good team that stumbled on a really, really tough stretch of schedule and just hasn't had the bounces go their way. So we'll see what happens here at Baylor. The Bears are only 3-8 in Big 12 play. They're 13-10 overall. They're coming off a loss at Iowa State. It was a very competitive 3-point loss, so they played really well in that game. Before that, they beat Colorado and West Virginia, but they've lost to Cincinnati. They've lost to TCU. They've also lost to Kansas, and that was in a blowout. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Cameron Carr is a very solid leading scorer. Baylor is in the top 50 in the nation total offense. The rebounding numbers are fine. Their defense, though, not quite up to the standard we've grown accustomed to from Baylor defenses. Now, the Bears are getting 2.5 points here at home. We've got a total of 161.5. BYU only 1-4 against the spread on the road, 12-11 to the under. Baylor 5-7 against the spread at home, 11-11 to the over/under. Guys, I think this is a pretty significant mistake here by the odds makers. I will definitely take BYU here, -2.5 or on the money line to take care of business in this game. They're by far the better team. Baylor is getting drastically overvalued here. Despite the fact they're playing at home, I don't think they have much of a chance at all in this game. BYU is going to use this as a monster get-right spot. They've got Baylor, then Colorado, so this is not a look ahead. Definitely give me the Cougars here playing on the road. Rapid fire through these games, we're headed out to the Big East. We've got the Marquette Golden Eagles heading to Villanova to take on the Wildcats. Marquette, they're 4-9 in conference play. They've had a rough time of it. They are coming off a 70-55 win over Butler, but Butler has also not been great this season. They lost to Seton Hall before that. They did win against Creighton, but Creighton's not having a great year. This team, very mediocre, around 300th in the nation total rebounding. Their defensive numbers are not very good, and offensively, they're 228th in the nation. And they've had some crazy outlier games like that 105-104 win over Providence that really help that number overall. So we'll see what the Golden Eagles can do here on the road against Villanova. The Wildcats are 18-5 on the season. They're 9-3 in conference play. Very solidly the third best team in the Big East behind UConn and St. John's. They're coming off a 72-60 win over Seton, a 72-60 win over Seton Hall and an 80-73 win at Georgetown. So very good job taking care of business there on the road against a Georgetown team that does not just roll over and give up. This squad also not elite on the boards, but their defensive numbers are very, very good. Offensively, they're a solid squad. They don't have a ton of monster level leading scores, but there is a lot to like here about Villanova. The problem is they are 9.5-point favorites here at home. We got a total of 145.5. We do see Villanova has a trip to Creighton on deck. That's not ideal. Marquette has a trip to Xavier on deck, so we'll see if that comes into play. Marquette only 2-6 against the spread on the road, 12-12 to the over/under. Villanova 8-5 against the spread at home, 13-10 to the over. I will take Villanova here at -9.5. I do think they're in good shape to win this game very comfortably, but the look-ahead spot here does worry me just slightly, so we'll keep an eye on this one. I do still think there's a potential they could be a fringe pinned comment play. Headed out to the Big Ten for this one, we've got the 16-7 Wisconsin Badgers heading to Illinois to take on the number 8 Fighting Illini. Now, Wisconsin, they're coming off a 78-77 heartbreaker of a loss at Indiana. Now they're going to head to Illinois. Obviously, that is a big step up in opponents. We've liked a lot of what we've seen from Wisconsin this year. I mean, 8-4 in the Big Ten is not nothing. Nick Boyd leads this team with 20 points and almost 4 assists per game. They're in the top 60 in the nation total offense. Their rebounding could be a significant issue in this game, though, and Wisconsin is not exactly an offensive juggernaut or a defensive juggernaut. So we'll see what they can do here. They got a couple tough games coming up. They play Illinois and then they play Michigan State. So we'll find out a lot about them here. The Fighting Illini are number 8 in the nation. They're 20-4 on the season, 11-2 in Big Ten play. They are fresh off of a loss, a tough 85-82 loss at Michigan State. That was a brutal one. I mean, we've liked what we've seen from Illinois basically all season long. They've had some big wins, taking down Purdue and Nebraska and Iowa. They've done some good stuff, but that was not a great look there at Michigan State. Obviously, that game could have gone either way, so we will see what Illinois can come up with in this one. They're in the top 30 in the nation total offense. They're 22nd in the nation rebounding, and I think that will be a massive strength for them in this one. And they're one of the best defensive teams in the entire nation. So there's an awful lot to like here about Illinois. They're also playing at home. However, they are 11.5 point favorites here at home. We've got a total of 155.5. Wisconsin is 4-1 against the spread on the road, 13-10 to the over. Illinois 8-5 against the spread at home, 15-9 to the under. Guys, this is a pretty brutal spot, I'll be honest, but the last time that we saw this Wisconsin team play a team as good as Illinois, they were going up against number 2 Michigan, and they won that game straight up, winning 91-88 at Michigan, handing them, I believe that was their first loss of the season. So 11.5 is just too much for me. Wisconsin's been so good against the spread on the road this year. Give me the Wisconsin Badgers here, getting 11.5 points. I don't think they win this game straight up, but I think they keep it to single digits, and that's all we need. Next up, we're looking at the number 3 Houston Cougars heading to Utah to take on the Utes. Now, Houston, they're 21-2 on the year. They're 9-1 in Big 12 play. They're coming off a big 77-66 win there at BYU. We were on Houston in that game, and they do take care of business. Their defense coming up huge, only giving up 66 points. Over the course of the season, they're giving up 61.6 points per game. They're a very solid team on the boards. They're a solid offensive team. Kingston Flemings is a monster, 17 points, 6 assists, 51.6% shooting from the field. Those are just crazy pants numbers. So we'll see if they can keep it rolling here against the Utah Utes, who are 9-14 on the season. They're 1-9 in Big 12 play, technically the worst team in the Big 12, or tied for worst with Kansas State. Terrence Brown is a monster, 21 points per game, 4 assists, 45% from the field. All very, very elite numbers, but this team has lost 5 straight games. They're coming off a 71-59 loss at Kansas. Now they got to take on an incredibly tough Houston team. We'll see if they can stay attached here. It's going to be tough. They're around 300th in the nation total rebounding, and they're giving up 80 points per game. That could make for really rough sledding against Houston. Utah getting 16.5 here. We've got a total of 143.5. Houston 4-1 against the spread on the road, 13-10 to the under. Utah 4-9 against the spread at home, 15-8 to the over. Utah has Cincinnati on deck. Houston has Kansas State on deck, so not really a look-ahead spot for either team. 16.5 is an awful lot of points. I am going to lean just slightly towards Houston, though, despite that. I think they get the win and cover here. Utah just not quite deep enough of a team, and definitely not good enough on the boards to keep themselves attached here to the Houston Cougars. Next on the docket, we're looking at the number 4 Duke Blue Devils, 21-2 on the season now, coming off that 71-68 loss against North Carolina. They were in North Carolina for that one, and they just flat out imploded. That was not a good look. Just getting killed there in the second half, losing the second half 42-27. North Carolina was knocking in a lot of shots. Duke shot 37% from 3 themselves. We did see UNC shoot more than double the free throws, but when you out-rebound your opponent by 12, you should probably be able to take care of business there. Duke just really, really let that one get away. The Blue Devils have obviously been an elite level team all season long. Cameron Boozer is a monster. They're in the top 50 in the nation total offense. Their defensive numbers look phenomenal. Their rebounding numbers look excellent as well. So we'll see what they can do here in a bounce back spot as they head to Pittsburgh to take on the 9-15 Panthers. Pittsburgh, they're 2-9 in conference play, tied with a few other teams for the last spot in the conference. They're coming off an 86-67 loss against SMU. Now they play Duke and then go to North Carolina, so nothing getting easy here. They're around 350th in the nation total offense. Their defensive numbers aren't horrible, but the rebounding numbers are pretty bad. So looking at the numbers here, I was shocked to see Pittsburgh only getting 15.5 points in this game. We've got a total of 136.5. Duke, they're 6-2 against the spread on the road, 16-7 to the under. Pittsburgh 6-9 against the spread at home, 13-10-1 to the over. I will definitely take the Duke Blue Devils to win this one by 20 plus. I don't think this is going to be a competition at all. Duke's by far the better, deeper, and more talented team. Even their bench should be able to build the lead here against Pittsburgh. I don't care that they're on the road. Definitely give me Duke here in a massive bounce back spot. Next on the dock, we're looking at the number 5 Iowa State Cyclones heading to TCU to take on the Horned Frogs. Iowa State has pretty quietly been one of the best teams in the nation so far. They're 8-2 in Big 12 play. They're coming off a 72-69 win over Baylor, so a very, very close one, but that's after a 34-point blowout over Kansas State. They got TCU, but they have Kansas and Houston on deck, so this is a pretty major look-ahead spot. We liked what we've seen from this team all year long, though. Their offensive numbers are fantastic. Their defensive numbers are off the charts, so we'll see what they can do here. They are playing on the road. TCU has been a tough out for a lot of teams this year. They're only 4-6 in conference play. They come into this game fresh off an 84-82 nail-biter win over Kansas State. They also have played close games against teams like Houston this year, played a very competitive game against BYU. So we'll see what they come up in this one. They also had a chance to knock off Kansas earlier this season. Their season-long numbers don't look great. They're not a very good rebounding team. Their defensive numbers are not phenomenal, and they don't have a lot of monster leading scorers. So we'll see what they can do here. They're getting 6.5 points. We've got a total of 147.5. Iowa State, they are 4-2 against the spread on the road, 12-11 to the under. TCU is 5-10 against the spread at home, 12-11 to the under themselves. This is a tough spot. It is a massive look-ahead spot for TCU, or for Iowa State. TCU, they have Oklahoma State on deck, so it's not a look-ahead spot for them. I will lean just slightly towards the Cyclones here to avoid the look-ahead spot, but this one is not going to be a pinned comment play for me. Iowa State has shown us they can play some head-scratchingly close games at different points. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the number 21 Arkansas Razorbacks heading to LSU to take on the Tigers out there in the SEC. Now, Arkansas, 17-6 on the season, 7-3 in SEC play, which has them, only one game back of Florida for the top spot. They're coming off an 88-68 blowout win at Mississippi State. That was a bounce back after a loss against Kentucky, though. They've already beaten LSU once this season, winning 85-81, and that was a home game for Arkansas. So we'll see what they can do here in game 2 between these two teams. Darius Acuff has been a monster this season. Actually, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but they're 15th in the nation total offense. They are giving up 77.2 points per game, which isn't amazing defensively, but they've played some big games this season and they have looked very, very good. So we'll see what they do here on the road against LSU. The Tigers are only 2-8 on the season in SEC play, so that hasn't been great. They're coming off an 83-71 loss against Georgia. Now they play Arkansas, then Tennessee, then Texas, and then Alabama. So a really tough stretch of schedule. This is a decent offensive team. The defensive numbers don't wow me. The rebounding's okay, but also not great. And they kind of lack a stellar leading scorer. So the fact that LSU is only getting 5.5 points in this one is a little bit suspect. We've got a total of 161.5. Arkansas is only 3-3 against the spread on the road. They're 12-11 to the over. LSU is 6-7 against the spread at home, 12-9-2 to the under. This game is probably not going to see a lot of action from me. I will lean just slightly here towards LSU playing at home because they've already shown they can make this a very competitive game in this specific matchup. Arkansas, they do have Auburn on deck, which also makes this maybe a look-ahead spot, but we're not getting too involved in this one in any major way. Last but not least here, guys, we've got the late ESPN game. We've got the Washington State Cougars going on the road, taking the number 12 Gonzaga Bulldogs. Now, Washington State, they're 11-15 on the season. They're 6-7 in WCC play. They're coming off a 96-92 loss against Santa Clara. They also lost to Oregon State the game before that. It has not been an easy season necessarily. They already played Gonzaga once this year and got blown out by 21. So we'll see what they can do, see if they've got a bounce back in them. Ace Glass is a decent leading scorer, but this team is terrible on the boards and not very good defensively either. Two things that could spell major problems here as they take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who are 12th in the nation. They're 23-2 overall. They're 11-1 in conference play. They're coming off an 81-61 win over Oregon State after that crazy 87-80 loss against Portland. A big letdown for them after that St. Mary's win. They lose to Portland. They win at Oregon State. Now they got to take on Washington State. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, this team has looked elite over the course of the season. 17th in the nation total offense, 24th in total rebounding. yada, yada, yada. They also got, blown out by Michigan. So we'll see what they can do in this one. They're 20.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 157.5. Washington State is 5-4 against the spread on the road, 13-12 to the over. Gonzaga 5-6 against the spread at home, 16-9 to the under. I mean, I got to take the points here with Washington State. I don't think the Cougars are alive on the money line or anything like that, but I do think they can make this a real game. I don't think Gonzaga is going to be that locked in to turn this into a monster blowout, and they really haven't been, crazy dismantling teams this season as much as we've seen in years past. So give me Washington State here, getting those points. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and to help me get these videos promoted out there. It's a big thank you to me, and I really appreciate everybody that takes that 10th of a second to do it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Really appreciate all the new subscribers we've gotten recently. We're up over 68,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100K. Let's see if we can make that dream a reality. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate or anything else. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to get over there to stumpthespread.com and check out everything we offer over there at Stump the Spread. Tons of value there in the free picks section, even more value on that free email newsletter, and the best value in the sports betting space there in the premium picks. So definitely get in on that, and we will see you guys tomorrow right back here, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.